everybody. Welcome to this new podcast, Agape the Game. We are so glad to have y'all here. My name's Sarah,
My name's MJ.
And I'm Marlon.
and thank you for watching. And we're just gonna get right to it.
All right, jump right in it. First of all, thank everybody for being a part of our first ever podcast, and we took the huge risk to do it live, and MJ is sleepy over there. So in a minute we'll be going to sleep. But we're going to give you a few minutes of what we call Agape the Game, and the whole idea behind it was really centered around a thought that, particularly in sports, we believe that there is an absence of a true love for the game, and so I know I talk a lot to my kids about loving the game, and I talk to them a lot about when they face adversity, the love that they have for the game will come out. And so today what we want to do is begin a journey of not telling our story, but hearing your story and hearing how you express the highest love for the games that you play. So those games are not just sports, although, it is pretty common that we may talk a lot about sports, but we want to hear about love for careers. We want to hear about love for entrepreneurships and the businesses that you own. We want to hear about a love for your political aspirations. You may be in politics and really have a servant's heart and feel that your love for politics is exactly what we need. It may be a love for relationships. So when you study the term love, you'll learn that there are several different types of love, and we've learned that agape is the highest form of love. It's a love that based on what we believe that God shows us every day. But now, as we live here on earth, we get an opportunity to express what we believe is the highest level of love for any game that we're in. And so I want to kick it off. Let's kick it off with MJ and Sarah. Let's hear from them, to really find out, when you hear Agape the Game, what do you think about when you hear that word, the highest expression of love for a game? Number one, who do you think about? Who's the first person that comes to mind? And, and why? And then what game do they play? What game do they play? And it can be anything. All right. What you got, MJ?
I'm going to be honest with you. When I heard Agape the Game, I thought of a frappe. I'm going to be completely honest.
So that's a new Starbucks frappe?
Frappe and agape.
Agape frappe.
Yeah. See? You love the frappe. But, when you think of Agape the Game, I think of Ronald Acuna, because of how he plays in the game of baseball, and how you can see his fun on the field and how he goes about his things on the baseball field. But I think of him when you hear Agape the Game.
So Ronald Acuna, here we are talking about a guy who suffered, a season-ending injury. Could not help his team in the World Series, in the chase for the World Series, but yet you believe that when you hear the word agape, that you think about Ronald Acuna. So expound a little bit on that, because he was, most of us love what we can be in, what we can participate in, So what was it really about Ronald that that really attracted you to his style of play and his love for the game?
Because in the World Series, you could see how he was cheering with his teammates, getting them hyped during the when they were up by a lot, or getting, just how how he cheered on his teammates and how he, leaded them still. And that's just how I think of him.
So here it is. I think it's personally a great example. I think it is an opportunity for us to learn about a person who we see every time he plays the game, we see Ronald Acuna's love for the game of baseball. And I think that he has changed the game in terms of his passion for the game. And I just believe that that's a great example. So, Sarah, look into the camera, look into the people. Make sure you are engaged with the folks out there, because I'm sure they want to hear your perspective about agape the game, that phrase. And number one, who do you think about? Don't say yourself, right?
I'm not.
Who do you think about? Why?
That was
And
one of my options,
really,
but
what game do they play?
myself was one of my options, but
Make sure you talk in the mic so the people can hear you,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I know you
So-
have something very important to say.
really.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I first heard like my dad give the idea of like agape, like use that as like the title, the first thing I thought of, like how MJ said a frappe, I thought of French because it sounded like a French word or like a France word. Like it sounded like very fancy, but I liked it. Like, but the first person in terms of people in showing the highest expression of love of what they do and the game that they play, I thought of Jackie Robinson.
Okay.
And I think that like it also ties in because it's February, it's Black History Month.
Right.
But the reason why I chose him and the reason why I thought of him first was because the way that people were like being racist towards him, and no one liked how he played. No one
How do
cared
you
for
know
him.
how he plays though?
MJ.
How do you know how he plays? Have you
I've
seen
seen
him play?
him. Yes, I have.
Where?
I've seen the movie. I've seen old highlights. I've
Okay,
seen
but
like,
that was
documentary.
Chadwick Boseman that was playing Jackie. So was it really Jackie?
Yes, because no, I mean,
Yeah, that's
of
deep.
course it
yeah,
wasn't.
that's deep. That's deep, ain't it?
Of course
it
it
wasn't
wasn't.
Jackie.
Of course it wasn't Jackie. But I still saw
was
like
Chaz
highlights of him
McBoseman.
playing. I saw him
Where
highlights
have
of him
you seen
playing.
highlights?
I've learned about him in school. They've showed old
That's
highlights and
school.
stuff. But they have showed old highlights. I've saw highlights on YouTube and stuff. I know what I'm
We
doing.
all know.
Okay. All right. All
You
right.
know on
Back-
YouTube- you
get-
know
get
on
to
YouTube-
Sarah's.
It's my turn.
You know on YouTube,
it's
you
my
be
turn.
watching the Norris Nuts.
Hey, it's Sarah's
my
turn. It's Sarah's turn.
turn.
Here we go.
Thank you. So, yeah, but like how people are like racist towards him and stuff, and no one liked how he played. He still kept going. Like he was the only African American on his team, and he still kept playing. He still kept doing his best. He still kept showing out. He still like he played like it was his last time playing, even though
Right.
everyone was like being racist towards him and everything. He kept playing because he loved the game, and that inspires me for like the sports that I play and the things that I do. So that's why I chose Jackie Robinson.
Okay, I think that's great because you hit on a couple of big things here. You talked about obviously an icon in sports. Whenever you talk about Jackie Robinson, first of all, here's a guy who set a very high standard for playing the game, and the standard was so high. MJ, you letting everybody know that you're tired, big guy?
I'm sorry.
No, I've
I mean,
gone
really.
3 times.
been
I've
trying-
gone 3 times.
I'm trying to hold my young.
I mean, really, man. I mean, engage the folks. So,
Try.
but here it is, this guy that sets this huge standard, this very high standard for playing the game of baseball, such a high standard that his number is or was retired or is retired on every single baseball team. So when you talk about Jackie Robinson and you love the game and him having that type of impact, I think is great. And then obviously the next thing is as you mentioned, is the fact that it's Black History Month and we can think back on how he, we can think back on how at least we can try to imagine, because like MJ says, we were not there, but we can try to imagine what it was like to be the first African American to integrate the game of baseball on the major league level. And as you mentioned, name calling. There were some folks that didn't want him to go in a restaurant. I mean, some folks that didn't even want him to come in stadiums. But here it is, a guy that faced a huge amount of adversity, but still, expressed to us the highest love for the game, and I just think that is such a great example, and I think it's something that we can all learn from, and even in our family, we got my brother, your Uncle Rudy, who was the second black quarterback at Georgia Tech, and he shared some of the experiences that he's had as a college athlete during those times when black quarterbacks were not they were not the first pick. So for him to play a highly skilled, intelligent position, to be a black guy, and then to face very similar things that Jackie faced, I think is a great example for us all. Speaking of, I think it's important for our fans to kind of see and want to encourage you to go to our YouTube page and subscribe, hit that like button, turn on the notifications, so that every time we go live, you will get notified about our live podcast. But let's turn our attention to our backdrop. I think it's pretty cool because you see some different faces up here. And we created this backdrop because we wanted you to really know that, Agape the Game is not just about sports, although we got Michael Jordan up there and Rudy Allen and Serena. But we also have some folks who
have Jeff Bezos.
Who created
Bezos.
There you go. All right. Mr. Amazon. There you just say Mr. Amazon.
Mr. Amazon.
There you go.
Bezos.
We got
here you can't see Amazon on the floor, but we got Mr. Apple over there.
Bezos.
Yep.
We
So
got Mr. Tesla.
if you could see it all, I think it's really, really cool that you can see the backdrop and then know what our passion is.
Oh, that's Beyonce and Jay-Z.
So there we go.
See
So
it.
I think,
Michael
as we mentioned
Jackson.
before, baby, Sarah, I think it's
Oh,
important
yeah.
that people understand that this show is not just about sports. I mean, every game that anybody is playing, it's important that you let us know how you express that love. So in the comment section, we want you to share with us how you, just how you are. All right. Sorry about that, y'all.
There's an
That's
echo.
All right, had to some technical difficulties there, but once again, it's important that you understand that it's so much that that we can learn from the many different aspects of the games that you play. So whether it's politics, whether it's sports, whether it's the relationships that you're in, academic, businesses that you started, we want to learn from you and understand, how do you express your love for the game. And so, big game coming up. We keep talking about the game, right? The Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
Food, nachos, wings. Oh,
Halftime show.
We're talking about who's
Halftime show.
Who's doing the halftime show?
Hey, it's a pretty.
I bet
pretty
you
cool.
Sarah don't even know the teams in the Super Bowl.
The Rams,
That's one.
the Bengals.
Nah, don't try to help her out.
The Bengals.
The Rams and the Bengals. Ah, boy, I think
Bengals,
it's.
Pringles. Do they sponsor Pringles?
Wow.
And we can watch
No.
a Super Bowl and Tom Brady not be in it. Of
you know
course,
what
I'm
a
sure
Bengal
we'll
is?
talk about it.
Sarah, you know what a Bengal is?
But here we go.
A Pringle.
Um,
A Pringle
there we
with
go.
a B.
So the Super Bowl. You got the Rams, SoFi Stadium. I think it's pretty cool that they make it to the Super Bowl in the year that the Super Bowl is at their home stadium. So that's kind of crazy. And then we got the Cincinnati Bengals. We got Joe Burr. All right.
Joe Brr.
Joe Burr. All right. The guy, I've heard this week, more people talk about Joe's swag than anything, even probably more so than his play on the field. But I think it's cool that we got two up and coming. Although Matthew Stafford obviously has been in the league quite a while,
but he's never had the playmakers that he got right now.
Never had the playmakers. But he's been in the league. He's experienced, and now in the Super Bowl for the first time. So let's talk football. I think it's important. We talk about Agape the game. I think it's only right that we talk about the biggest game of the year, and that's the Super Bowl.
I really don't think the Super Bowl is the biggest game.
Yeah.
I think it's the college football national championship.
College football national championship.
Yes.
You think that is bigger than
the Super Bowl? Yes.
Okay. All right. Why would you say that though?
Because you can tell how the players are on the field between college and
because this is a good point.
Because you could see in college, even in the national championship, they're trying to chase the ring and get in the draft.
So you mean as a professional?
I mean, yeah, as a professional, you're trying to chase the ring, but at the same time, you won't see the level of intensity that's in college and in the pros.
Man,
like I agree with MJ. I don't feel like the Super Bowl is the biggest game, but I don't feel like no football is the biggest game. But
obviously,
anyway, but I do feel
as
like
she mentioned, we talked about the Super Bowl and she started talking about food. So there you go.
But I feel like the college national championship is bigger, like how Georgia and Alabama played like last month. Was it last month? No. No.
All right.
Like a couple weeks ago. But like
it was last month. It was January 6th.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when they played, it seemed like there was like way more people talking about it, like way more preparations, way more plans for people. But like the Super Bowl, I didn't even know the Super Bowl was happening until my dad mentioned it.
The only reason you think more people are talked about the national championship is because your mom went to UGA, and of course that's all we heard, that week. So when Columbus State goes
now switching back. So
when Columbus State,
the highlights of the teams.
No.
So what do you
when
think?
I was at school though, you could people would talk about the national championship, and they wouldn't talk about, and there barely anybody's talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there's a lot of teachers at my school.
Yeah, because the Super Bowl, it's the L.A. Rams, Los Angeles Rams, and the Cincinnati Bengals. There's nobody in your school that is, probably not many people.
Okay, but it's still like a national championship.
It's the Super Bowl. Most of the people in your school are probably talking about the halftime show.
What's the halftime show? Who's performing in the halftime show?
Nobody's talking about the Super Bowl.
What's that?
Who's performing in the halftime show?
Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop.
I knew you was going to say Dr. Dre.
And I'm like almost 50,
Lord.
and here I am talking about some hip hop, and my baby girl don't even know what's going on. So now she's Googling. She's doing what, the digital age does, and that is to Google.
Wow.
Who is performing in the?
Well, I forget. She be listening to depressing music. So
MJ, it's Olivia Rodrigo. She's not depressed.
she's depressed.
So here's the deal. Let's go back to the Super Bowl. MJ.
No, it says Mary J.
Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you go, Mary J. Blige.
Dre, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar. I know who Kendrick Lamar. I know Snoop Dogg. Hasn't Snoop Dogg done it like every single year?
No.
It seems like he's always on the stage.
Do you know who Eminem is?
Yeah, he's the one that raps really fast.
All right, so here's the deal. Right. So there's a connection with all of those guys and over the years and what they've done and how they have produced music. So yes, the halftime show I think is there's already a lot of talk about it. And but the biggest thing about Sunday and the Super Bowl is football.
Food. Oh.
Wow.
There you go. Food and football. So we'll say that. Now, here's the thing about the Super Bowl that I hope will happen is that we will see a game that has been as good as the past 2 weeks of football, and not the Pro Bowl, but I'm talking about the AFC, NFC championships. and then even before then. So there was some great games. I can't even remember all the matches. Probably should have done my research on those, but I know I was glued to the TV that week. MJ, let's talk about. Go ahead. What
I
you
had
got?
a question. So, like the Super Bowl is the most popular out of all the bowls. So what's the point of all the other bowls? Like, there's 2 teams that make it to the Super Bowl, and then there's a Sugar Bowl, and then and then there's a Rose Bowl.
Oh my goodness!
There's no Sugar Bowl.
Oh my Lord.
Oh my goodness! Are you serious?
Dude,
So,
no Sugar Bowl?
Sarah.
all right.
I know
all right.
there's a Rose Bowl.
All right, let us just talk
Rose
about it.
Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl. I just realized.
So there is
Citrus-
a Sugar Bowl.
Citrus
Why
Bowl.
are y'all
Hold on.
laughing at me? There is
Hold
a
on,
Sugar
hold
Bowl.
on.
That Cotton Bowl kind of racist.
Huh? What's that?
Cotton Bowl.
All right. Well,
Hey, you
we'll.
gotta think about it. Most of the football players black.
Okay, is that right? So does that?
How is it
does that
racist?
just-
It's just showing black talent.
so here we go. Here we
That ain't
go.
Black talent. If we had to escape with the Underground Railroad.
Okay. All right. So that's a whole nother game that obviously we're gonna talk about on this show.
In the water. Wade.
Water.
Do you know what that?
Wade in the water.
God's gonna trouble the water.
All right, here we go.
Wade in the
All right, so there we go. That's the fun of the show. Super Bowl. MJ, talk to me about the Rams, the Bengals,
You know,
and who you are picking.
Joe Burrow and Jamal. What's his name? I think it's Jamal Chase.
You don't
Chase.
even know football.
Jamar Chase. Their chemistry is probably gonna help the Bengals stay in the game.
Okay.
But you have Matthew Stafford, Odell, Von Miller, Aaron Donald,
Wait, Odell's
Cooper
playing?
Kupp.
All right.
So
When
you got
have,
some
when you
playmakers.
have 5 playmakers like that, I think the Rams are gonna pull it out. You know, I'm gonna probably say, I'll say 24-17.
That's it. 24. Write it down. 24-17. You know, I really, my gut says that, you know, obviously the LA Rams are going to win exactly like you say. But I don't know. I'm just kind of intrigued with Joe Burrow and his ability to, you know, to win the big game. You know, I think that we're going to be in, it's going to be a big surprise on Sunday. At least I hope so, talking about how the Cincinnati Bengals play. I think they got a good, solid team. I don't know any guys on that on the defensive side, but
But you know, I mean, if the Bengals line do not block, it's gonna be a real tough game.
well, here's the deal.
Because that's what the Bengals struggle with. Their line does not block. That's why Joe Burrow has to escape and all that. And then when you have Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the ends,
Right.
it's gonna be a tough game.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I believe that. Now that's my gut saying that, but then the other side of me says, you know what, man? Just a couple of years ago, man, we saw Joe Burrow play some great football in the national championship, and now a couple of years later, you know, we're watching him in the Super Bowl. I think that's pretty cool to have that level of success. And that's what, you know, when you go back and you talk about Agape the Game and the things that we want to bring out, it's easy for somebody like him to express his love for football because the past few years he's been on top. Now, the conversation I would love to have with Joe Burrow, which none of us really see, is when he got hurt and what happened behind the scenes. And I'm going to tell you, when, you know, talking from experience, when you suffer an injury, and obviously even with you, MJ, I think we can talk about that. We can pivot. I think you can share with our listeners, you know, even your experience right now. So Joe Burrow last year, he was out of commission. First year get hurt. Second year he comes back, you know, and everybody's talking about the swag. They see the smiles. They see the wins. They see the play on the field, but none of us really got a glimpse into a grueling, recovery and rehab, that he had to go through and endure. And so I think that type of love, waking up every single morning, rehab, and knowing that your body is the one thing that's going to help you make money. Just like with you, I think it's important, the people know you had surgery. We got a big appointment on tomorrow. They didn't even think about that. Second appointment tomorrow.
Yes.
And so second follow-up tomorrow. So talk to us, though, about that, MJ, and your thoughts on loving the game of baseball. We're in baseball season right now. You've shared with me that you love baseball more than the other sports you play. But let us get a peek into your mind right now. You're going through recovery. Maybe you just like the game a little bit right now because you're not playing. Is that how you feel? You just like it? You don't really love it?
No, I mean, I like watching it, but playing it is better. It's a whole lot better because seeing what I could have, done to help the team out at least, or like what I could have played this season, I would have been like, I wouldn't say the top player. I'm not that cocky, but like,
It's not being cocky. It's called being confident. But
but I know that's being confident. But at the same time, I would have at least got moved up to JV. And that's what I think. If I got to play, but just watching the game and all that, it's pretty boring. I like watching it, but it's a whole lot boring when you're not playing it, and that you can help the team out in big ways.
Not being able to have fun like your teammates are having fun.
So now it goes full circle because the guy that you spoke about is Ronald Acuna. It's evident based on you saying Ronald Acuna and him and you thinking about him when you hear Agape the Game. He was hurt. They were, chasing in a World Series chase. Right now, it may not be a World Series chase for your team, but, this is even off script, but how are you going to express, that agape type of love for the game right now? You can't play. You just said it's boring. You just said the game is boring to watch, right? So yes, I get that you want to play, but right now you're going to practice every day. If I went out there on the field right now and asked your teammates, hey man, or ask your teammates and coaches, does MJ love baseball?
Yeah,
what are they gonna say?
They're gonna say yes because of how I, give them tips and encourage them when they're doing something at least.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what they're gonna say, that I love it because of just how I like encourage and help them out through what they're doing.
Gotcha. That would be good to see. Maybe I need to come out there and get some footage, but you probably just do it just because the camera on you. But
I probably won't even know.
I think even without even thinking about it, that's a great way for us to really, begin to wrap this up. We got a lot to talk about. Thank y'all so much. Want to give a shout out to all of our folks that are on, that are watching us right now. Jeff Brown, give a shout out to Jeff. Hey man, thanks for your support. Go like it, go share it. Let everybody know about Agape the Game, and we'll repost this. So share this first episode with all of your friends, your family, and man, it's going to be an exciting journey as we continue to talk about Agape the Game, and really learning from others how they express their love for the game. I think is going to be very important. So, last thing, I like to call this girl power perspective. Girl power perspective. We're gonna say that. Girl power perspective. What you got, Sarah, as we leave? What do you got to say to the folks? What do you got to say to the folks?
Oh.
Your girl power. You're on this show. You got it. I mean, your
Yeah.
perspective, I think, is very valuable. I think there's some young girls out there that's going to watch this show and listen to what you're saying. So when you think about Agape the Game, Super Bowl, and Jackie Robinson and Ronald Acuna and whoever else, you know, what's the girl power perspective? Something that you can tell us today that you believe, you know, it may change the game. Hashtag change the game. Hashtag girl power perspective. That sounds like some merch, right?
Maybe.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right, what you got to say to the folks? Talk to the
Let
people.
me let me
With
design
Sarah's
it.
face like this.
There you go. There it is, right there.
Screenshot that.
Next
But
screenshot.
anyway, so basically all I gotta say is thank you for watching, and it's about loving the game. So if you like love something, and it doesn't just have to be a game. If you love something, like don't give up on it. Just keep going and stuff, and try your best with everything. Make sure you have some Holly Molly dip on the Super Bowl. It'll keep you company.
Wow.
There you go.
And we going to end it on that one.
There we go. Hey, folks, thank y'all so much for joining us on our first episode of Agape the Game. Hey, we're going to work to tune in every week. We'll update you. We
The
love
lime
you.
chips.
And boom, we're out. Y'all have a great night.